going on, guys? Hope you're enjoying the nice update for the Vanguard. That's right, he's out now, and he's super dumb, super overpowered, you name it. So first off, I want to show you this shield block, which is his right click, and as you can see, it works very nicely. You'd be able to basically take 20 damage when you would normally take like 180 damage from a melee attack. It's pretty awesome. It saved my life a few times now. Now I believe you can block up to about 6 times before you can no longer block anymore, and then you'll see like a little recharge meter around your reticle or your crosshairs, and basically like a reload animation. You'll see the little ring around it, and once that gets full again, then you'll be able to block again, basically. So that's just his right click. For his left click, obviously it's his auto attack, or his melee attack, or his ranged attack, whatever you want to call it, because I guess melee attacks are middle mouse button. But these long range attacks can be very deadly, especially when it's partnered with the impaling axe. Costs about 1,500 to buy it permanently, and what it does is 215 damage, and then on top of that, they will bleed for 2 seconds for another 100 damage. That means you can bleed, you do actually 315 damage to a vampire if you hit them once. I think that's a little bit absurd. I'm really hoping that they nerf that, because being on the receiving end of that is not fun. I can tell you that for sure, firsthand. So on top of having the highest damage, I believe it also has the fastest reload, and compared to the other axes. And I think the War Axe, which is supposed to be the heavy hitter, does 285 damage. I might be wrong, but still not even close to 315 from one shot. I believe that's pretty ridiculous. And that thing, you throw it even slower, and I think it only has a 5 clip. So, I don't know, maybe the devs just like misclicked, or they were copying and pasting and they just forgot about it. Who knows? I sure hope they do fix it in the future, which I'm very sure that they will. They're doing their best to make everything balanced, which is probably the hardest part in making a game. I can tell you that. But the one thing that I definitely love about the axes, or the Vanguard himself, who is also known as the Shield Bearer, I believe they changed his name since they were first developing him, which I think this name, Vanguard, sounds a lot better than Shield Bearer. Sometimes in a game you'll be like trying to call, oh, there's a Shield Bearer over there. Just, I don't know. It would just take too long to call out compared to Vanguard. Just less syllables. I think my favorite thing about him, though, is probably the speed of the axes at which you throw them, which is pretty absurd. This guy's got a long arm on him for sure. You can toss these things across map, and they don't do any less damage compared to like the Prophet's bullets. If the vampire's farther away, it'll do a little bit less damage, and then less damage the farther away they get. This, nope. If you hit them, they're taking the full-on damage, and then if you're using the Impaler Axe, they're going to bleed for 100 damage on top of that. It's pretty gross. But that's what it is, and that's probably the reason I love him. So I guess I should probably move on to his Q ability, which is primary ability now, which you just saw right there. It's one I'm using, actually. I should mention that old Croat, he just saved my life right there. Props to him, man. Thank you for saving my life. So like I was saying, the primary ability Q, he has 2 of them. And the one that you see me using the most in this video is called Shield Bash, or Shield Charge, sorry. The other one is called Shield Bash, the one that you start off with. But Shield Charge, basically you charge a fair distance. I'll call it a fair distance, that's for sure, because you really do travel a distance. And if you hit a vampire on the way, you'll knock them down, and I think at max range, if you hit them like right at the edge of the animation, then they'll actually send them flying a little bit. So that's pretty cool. I tend to use that over Shield Bash, because Shield Bash does, I think, 275 damage, and it just like kind of stutters the vampires. Shield Bash actually knocks them down and does 150. So basically you're sacrificing the damage for the knockdown, which can be really useful, especially to save teammates from Reaver pounces and, I don't know, like an incoming Tyrant leap, because you can't stop them from their charge, but you can definitely knock them down when they're leaping. So you'd have to have a good time for that. They'd have to be just about to hit the ground for you to actually land that on them. So I don't know. I like that ability over Shield Bash. That's just my opinion. I'll probably mess around with it a little bit more and see if that's my true opinion on it, see if that one's actually my favorite, but for right now, it definitely is. So I guess now I should talk about his secondary ability, which he only has the one at the moment, and that is called Rousing Cry. Basically, rally up your teammates, and they regenerate 3% of their health over time. I don't know the actual duration on it, I think it's about 5 seconds, but they also increases their movement speed by 20%, which is pretty amazing. The only downside to this ability is that you have to be stationary while using it. You can't just like use it on the fly while kind of like an auto attack or something. So you have to stay stationary while you use it, and you can be pretty dead pretty fast if you use it incorrectly. You'll just end up killing yourself because the vampires love Vanguards at the moment because they just target them. They know they have the most overpowered weapon in the game apparently. Those throws are just so deadly. Which, I mean, if you think about it, 315 damage on a Reaver is a little bit more than a quarter of their health. It's so like you can actually see the chunks of their health being taken off if you hit them once with it. That or even a summoner because they have pretty low health. And that guy just got rejected. I guess another thing I should note about the Vanguard is that for the skins, they've created a little bit different side of customization for him. Is that you can actually have a skin on him, but then on top of that, you can actually customize how your shield looks. So you have to buy like a skin for your shield, which is a little bit absurd, but I guess that's how they make their money on a free to play game, not pay to win. And for the first time, I actually liked the skins on one of the humans, or I guess all together. I'm not a big fan of all the skins. I don't know, they just don't seem that appealing to me, so I generally just stick with the normal ones. But for the Vanguard, he actually has a few that I like, so I might actually end up picking one up. And look at the range of that charge. I love it. It's so far. It really sucks to be on the receiving end of that. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It gives you a little bit of insight on the Vanguard as it stands right now. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said before, he's a little bit overpowered, but I'm sure the devs will be fixing it in the future. I don't really know how they're going to do it, but I'm sure they'll get it done. Until next time, guys, take care. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.